The Lincoln Wishlist sales event is happening now. Here's what's on everyone's wish list. Enjoying holiday jingles with brilliant 3D audio that surrounds you? Check. Watching snow flurries through the panoramic Vista roof? Check. Packing up presents with the spacious Lincoln Splitgate? Check. Everything you want. All standard on the 2025 Lincoln Navigator SUV. Visit your local Lincoln retailer or learn more at Lincoln.com for exceptional offers on 2025 Lincoln vehicles today.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana makes car selling fast and easy from start to finish. Enter your license plate or VIN and get a real offer in seconds, down to the penny. If you accept, Carvana will come pick up your car from your driveway. Or you can drop it off at one of our car vending machines. Either way, you get paid instantly. It's fast, transparent, and 100% online. Car selling that saves your time. That's Carvana.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Hello and welcome to I Talk to Ghosts, the podcast that will lovingly haunt you throughout time. I'm your spirited host, Jennifer, and I'm happy to be spooky with you today. A quick update. I am still in the process of moving, but in the meantime, I have compiled for you a best of spooky ghost stories episode. I've hand-selected some of my favorite ghost stories that I've told you over the years, and I'm hoping the ghosts will keep you company while I'm away. I am really looking forward to creating and sharing with you new ghost stories and new spirit readings, and I will join you as soon as I possibly can. But for now, enjoy the hauntings. The ghost stories start right now. One foggy night, during a full moon, a friend and I decided to go on a moonlit adventure. We were going to explore an abandoned old mansion on the edge of town. My friend had visited this gloomy location a few times already without me. He described it as a decrepit 2-story house with a basement and an attic, with each floor still filled with dusty furniture, discarded belongings, and abandoned secrets. As it was being described to me, I decided I wanted to check it out. It was around 11 p.m. that night that my friend and I decided to go. We felt this weird attraction to the house. I don't know why or how to explain it. It just felt like something simply wanted us there. On the way there, we started talking about creepy stuff like portals, or what if when we were in the house, the door slammed shut and locked us in. We finally arrived at the narrow, long driveway, which in itself was creepy. The fog was so thick you could barely see around you. The fields surrounding the house looked as if they were almost glowing because the fog was so thick and white from the full moon. We made our way up the long, narrow driveway and around to the back side of the house. I had a sense that someone was watching me, but I was so intrigued at how astonishingly creepy yet beautiful the house was. We made our way to the back porch where the doors were oddly already opened, as if someone was just inviting us in. The porch's floorboards groaned under our steps, and the sound seemed to travel ahead into the darkness of the house, echoing there in announcement of our arrival. Right as we were crossing the threshold, we heard a terrible noise from inside. From far back, deep inside the house, came a terrible, heavy movement. I can only describe it as something large, terribly large, was charging through the house, crashing past furniture, slamming and smashing into anything in its path to get to us. I panicked. I turned and I ran back to the car, praying that my friend was behind me as I fled down the long driveway. Once at the safety of our car, I turned, instantly relieved to see my friend joining me. The driveway behind him was empty of everything but the full moon light. Still creeped out, as we drove away, I envisioned someone behind me. Not physically, but mentally envisioned a man. In my mind's eye, I saw a tall man, grayish beard, grayish hair, long-sleeved dark blue striped shirt and jeans. He was standing there on the back porch, just watching us drive away. In my mind's eye, he stood there motionless, expressionless, and had a blank, slightly disturbing look on his face. He looked kind of mad. I didn't say anything to my friend until we had gotten back to the house. When I told him, he looked at me in disbelief and said, "There's no way. There's a picture in the attic of a man exactly like you described." He had been in the house before, and I had no reason to think he was lying to me. Still, I'm in disbelief. But who was that man? What's the history of that house? And what happened there? My friend had been there many times, but never on a full moon. If I ever go back, it won't be while the moon is full. A friend of mine who works as a flight attendant told me the creepiest story, one that she swears is 100% true, and knowing her, I believe her. She was working a long-distance flight back to the US, and there was cargo being transported in the lower section of the plane, which isn't unusual. Partway through the flight, she had to head down to the cargo area for something. She didn't say exactly why, but she had to descend the little stairwell that leads down. As she started walking down, she noticed a man sitting calmly on one of the steps. She was startled, of course. No passengers are ever allowed down there, and told him he wasn't supposed to be in that area. The man was polite and apologetic. He explained that he was just keeping his wife company since she was terrified of flying. He even gave her the wife's full name. After she finished what she was doing, she felt a little concerned. If this woman was that nervous, maybe she could offer her some reassurance or check to see if she needed anything. So she walked the long length of the cabin looking for the man and the woman he had mentioned. She ended up needing to check the manifest to find this woman by name, and she found the woman, clearly distressed. But here's where it gets strange. The man wasn't with her. In fact, someone else was sitting in the seat next to her. So my friend crouched down and gently said something like, "I heard you weren't feeling great. Can I get you anything to help you feel more at ease?" Then the woman kind of teared up and said she was doing her best, but it was difficult. She was a nervous flyer to begin with, and on top of that, she was accompanying her husband's body back home. He had passed away overseas, and his remains were being transported in the cargo hold. That's when it hit her. The man she saw sitting on the stairs, it was him. She said he looked completely real, not ghostly, not flickering or translucent or anything like that, just solid and kind. For a moment, my friend honestly thought the crew might have been pulling a prank on her. So as they landed, she made a point to watch every single person disembark. She wanted to be absolutely sure. Maybe she missed him. Maybe he was just a regular passenger after all. But she never saw him leave the plane. And when the cargo was unloaded, there it was, a casket. She says this experience haunted her ever since, not in a frightening way, but in a way that makes her believe, without question, that some people really do find a way to stay close to the ones they love. I currently live in New Jersey with my best friend. I used to live in Long Island, so my friend and I would go back frequently so I could see my old friends. Whenever we made the trip, we would take what we would call the spooky route. We would drive past the Kings Park Psychiatric Center, the Stillwell Preserve, and Cold Spring Harbor. Nothing out of the ordinary happened. We were just looking for anything scary. We were calling it a night after we drove around Cold Spring Harbor, and I put my friend's address into the GPS. As we followed this map, to the left of us was a cemetery. As we drove past the cemetery in the dark, we noticed that a Mother Mary statue was abnormally lit up, as if it had spotlights all around it, but the only light shining was from right in front of it. And there was 2 people in front of it. One was kneeling and the other was standing in front of the statue. Both my friend and I asked out loud, what were 2 people doing there at midnight in a cemetery? I suggested they were praying, but that answer didn't sit right with us, so we turned around to investigate. We parked on the road, the cemetery again right in front of us. As we looked at these 2 people in front of the statue, we noticed that parts of their clothing were frozen in mid-air. One of them had something similar to a veil, as if it was waving in the wind but stuck there. The other had a blanket over them that did the same thing. We yelled at them to get their attention, but they didn't reply. So my friend and I got really curious as to whether or not they were people or statues or something else. We pulled into the parking lot for the cemetery at the front and aimed our headlights at the 2 figures. I can't explain this part properly, but these 2 figures morphed through themselves to turn around. They never physically turned around. Their backs phased into their fronts to look at us. And both of us got an overwhelming feeling of dread, evil, and panic. We left promptly, going down the rest of the road we were originally on. Except our GPS decided it would be great to reroute us back to the cemetery. The cemetery wasn't in our map's route. We didn't mark it on the map or anything. We even canceled our map and re-entered my friend's address, and the map still routed us back to the cemetery. To this day, his phone is still screwed up when it comes to location routing. We went back the following week to ask around about any paranormal activity that happens on the grounds, except the man that saw us when we pulled up locked himself inside the office. We walked up to the Mother Mary statue and confirmed that there was only one light stationed there, right in front, no other lights around the back or sides of it. And there were 2 dead patches of grass in the exact spots where the figures had been. About a year ago, I moved my small business to a new location. I sell candles and crystals and a few herbal treatments. It's a modest building. I share both sides of my brick walls with neighboring stores, and there's a small office and storage in the back. My shop is located in a quiet town on an even quieter street. I haven't had any drama, let alone paranormal activity, since I moved in. But about a month ago, a customer came into the store and asked me how I was liking the space. I said it was lovely and I was really enjoying the community and that things were going really well. Then they got a hesitant look on their face as if they were deciding something, and then asked me, "Have you heard any bumps in the night here?" I laughed and thought maybe they were making a joke since I sell crystals and such, but I told him no. Plus, I was never there at night. The store closed at 5 p.m. He nodded and explained that he used to work in the same space when it was a computer repair shop. He would work long hours in the back trying to catch up on orders, and strange things happened to him then. With a little prodding, he described shuffling noises, things shifting as if being bumped into, and once he swore someone whispered in his ear. Now, I've always found ghost stories incredibly interesting, and I was a little surprised I hadn't picked up on anything while being in the space. Later that week, I was tired from a very long day of work, but I finally remembered to leave my laptop in the back room with the camera app open to record as long as it could. Checking the footage the next day, I realized I hadn't picked the best angle to record the whole room. Again, I was really tired the evening before. Well, I hit play anyway to review the footage. Not with big headphones like on the ghost shows or anything, and I certainly wasn't going to watch 5 hours worth of video in real time just to find out nothing happened. So I scrolled to where it got really dark at night. I hit play again and listened for a minute or two, and that's when I heard it. There was a distinct shuffling near the computer, walking around as if someone was looking for something, and they even bumped the desk and the camera shook a tiny bit. At this point, I really wasn't convinced it was a ghost. I was more concerned that someone had a key to my space and was possibly stealing from me. I ended up buying a few inexpensive security cameras to place around the office and shop, something I was meaning to do anyway. The second time I recorded, nothing happened. The third time, more disappointment. But eventually, unexplainable events started to unfold. I've seen my office chair slowly swivel and turn in a circle. I've watched my pen suddenly roll and drop off my desk. Let me tell you, when you see your office door open and then eventually close on its own, you start to feel different about the space you're occupying. I don't stay in the shop after closing anymore. It's one thing to be in there with the noise and bustle of customers. It's another to be in a quiet, empty place with a ghost. This happened to me about 6 years ago, but I'll never forget a single detail. I was staying with my aunt during my studies in London. My aunt was a kind lady in her 50s and living in a 2-bedroom house. She showed me to my room, and I remember thinking how cozy it was, with its small bed, a desk perfect for studying, a chair for reading, and a charming cupboard for all my clothes. The first night I was sleeping in bed, and I woke up in the middle of the night because I heard an old woman softly crying. Her small, sickly voice was saying, How could I sleep on her while she was in so much pain? I was terrified and couldn't explain what it was I was hearing. I spent the rest of the night sleeping in my room's chair. The next morning, my aunt asked me how I slept in the new space. I didn't tell her what had happened. I was trying to convince myself it had all been a strange nightmare. I was very uncomfortable with the idea of sleeping in that bed, but I had no choice. Nights went by, and if I was woken up by this strange, sad voice, I moved to the chair until morning. After a few months, a friend of my aunt came to visit us. He was telling me how he had took my aunt to a charity shop run by a hospice, and this is where they found the nearly new bed for my current bedroom. I was shocked to hear the origins of this bed. Still, not knowing this man and not wanting to look irrational, I kept my suspicions to myself. And that night, I gave the bed a deep cleaning. The base of the bed had 3 drawers underneath it. I opened one drawer, and I found numerous cards and gift papers inside. I took them out, and I was shocked to find out they were condolence cards for an old lady who had died after a long illness. Some of the cards had messages for her children, and there were notes about her maladies written by hospice nurses. Emotionally saturated by my find, I told my aunt everything and handed her the bundle of cards. I confessed the details of my sleeplessness due to this old woman's crying, how she always woke me up and would moan about her pain. The next day, my aunt threw out the bed and bought me a brand new one. We got rid of everything belonging to that bed, and I, with all my heart, wish the spirit of this lady to find peace. Wherever she is, I hope she's finally pain-free. And with that, dear listener, we've reached the end of this best of episode of I Talk to Ghosts. I hope you've enjoyed the ghost stories that I shared with you. Did you have a favorite? I would love to know, so please reach out. In the meantime, wherever you wander off to in this world or the next, just remember, come back and visit with me. Have a lovely evening and good night.
I've got a homicide in Springfield's North Woods by mile marker 16.
You are now entering Springfield. Where's the body?
Off the side of the ditch down there. You know, surrounded by all this crime scene tape.
Hello? Am I dead?
My name is John. I'm the new forensic pathologist. I can see you, and that's how we'll figure out how you were murdered.
That means ghosts are real!
Since then, I've noted multiple additional missing case files and even missing bodies.
Let's say I believe you came across some record-keeping discrepancies and a string of deaths. You're not an investigator, Jonathan. Stop trying to be one.
After everything I've discovered, I just need to know why. What happened in Springfield?
Going somewhere, Dr. Spacer?
Listen to How I Died, a full-cast police and medical procedural podcast with over 40 episodes already available. Then, tune in to Season 4 of How I Died, releasing now on all podcast apps.
Hey there, I'm Susie, and I'm the host of Beyond the Ferns podcast. Each week, I take you beyond the headlines into the stories that linger long after the news fades. From chilling true crime and unsolved cold cases, to paranormal encounters, cults, and extraordinary survival stories. It's a little bit of everything for everyone. Whether you're drawn to mysteries, fascinated by the strange and unexplained, or simply love a good story, I focus on the truth, the details, and above all, justice for the victims and survivors. So buckle up, things are about to get a little scary. Follow Beyond the Ferns wherever you get your podcast. Thanks, y'all.